Frank Miller knows his stuff. And today I mean fight scenes by that. Let's analyze his style progression from Daredevil to Wolverine to The Dark Knight. And then come up with an original Frank Miller homage fight scene. It's no secret that Miller loves his film noir movies and Akira Kurosawa. But there's more film elements to his work. His first Daredevil issue even starts with a cinema, and in his last issue these panels kind of read like a camera panning over the gun. He often does the frame by frame that are almost like flip books, the original start of cinema, or the slow-mo progression shots. He did not invent these things obviously, but he uses them very well. I selected these three because I see them as three phases in his style. In Daredevil, still holding true to the classic comic book language of action lines and traditional framing, lots of martial arts, but not always super graceful if I can be honest. But he already had a big love of the horizontal layout, some pages only full width horizontal bars. Then in Wolverine, he experiments with a negative space on each page, and the horizontal panels become masterful direction frames in his action scenes. Check this out. Diagonal down brings us to the foot, which pushes off to go back up. Last thing we see is the claws, which make a cross back. Again, the foot leads us up into the sword, stab, then swan dive into the downwards push. Masterclass in directing the eye and action. Even the text balloons are exactly placed on that line as well. And is this perhaps the very first double splash page? Then the Dark Knight drops and raises the bar again. He made this specifically for a maturer audience, so hardly any action lines and lots of things left to the imagination. Every page a work of art, worthy to be put up on the wall. In Daredevil and Wolverine, you get to see the whole movement of the fight. Classic stuff that martial arts fans love seeing, like a Van Damme helicopter kick. Thank you, Rogue. Sorry, that was Joe Madureira 10 years later, but too good to withhold. So yeah, the full moves. But in Batman, it's close-ups, like in a Jason Bourne fight scene. And this style of action movie is kind of hated by martial arts fans, because it's usually a trick to make a non-martial artist look like they can fight. But in Frank Miller's comic it works because our eyes can take the time to flow through the panels at our own speed, and what we don't see, the text helps us to imagine. Okay, here a good example of two types of hits in a fight scene. The follow through, like a John Wayne right cross, best to draw the image at the last part, or the deep contact, the image is drawn at the point of impact. These examples, not by Frank Miller, are not as effective. This feels like a weak punch because there is no follow through, almost as if the punch missed, and the face could have probably been drawn in a bit more pain as well. And this here is a tricky image, a simultaneous kick and punch. I guess it was written in the script like that. And I would have gone for a lower kick, so the body can fold around the deep impact. But then on the punch, again, a nice follow through. Also a twist in the body to have more of the energy going both ways. Especially with a kick like this, I feel it needs to have the object curve around it like a broken board. And in the punch, imagine the area of impact and then the chin also moving from point A to B. Again, this was not drawn by Frank Miller, but here is Miller with a nice deep impact effect, follow through, classic impact point, and the equal divide of the force afterwards, here as well. Deep impact. Here you even feel a rare vertical break, the shoulder blades kind of folding in on each other around the boot. Dave Gibbons left out action lines as well in Watchmen, and he even leaves out the sound effects, which gives it that movie feeling. Perfect energy dispersing though. Impact point here, follow through, and moving away from the impact point. Okay, let's draw. So I want to do that classic Wolverine style. So side to side, then a twist, and finally a slam down. And Mike Zeck, Kraven the Hunter, is still in the back of my mind from that Rain video. So I'm gonna do Spider-Man fighting Kraven. So let's say he shoots the web, which gives us the first left to right motion. Then Kraven punches, which goes right to left. Then Kraven tackles him or something. Spidey grabs his neck fur and throws him down in a 1-point perspective. So yeah, then comes the hard part. finding graceful poses, so lots of sketches for each one. Doing it digitally is very useful because I can keep each pose on a different layer, and then when I have one for each, I can stretch or resize to nicely fit it in the panels. Okay, let's speed through this till the end. Let's see if it works. Twip, kick, grab, counter grab, and throw. I'm always in the zone when I draw, and looking at it now, I think the first and last panel are maybe a bit too similar. So perhaps closer on Spider-Man and further away on Kraven would have helped to add some more dimension to the page. But overall, I think it has a nice flow. If you like it, why not drop a like on this video to let me know? Thank you! And let's move on to the weekly stick figure challenge, which I took from this super famous Frank Miller punch. Okay, I wanted to give it a bit more of a horizontal feeling because I'm gonna make my figure skinnier and gonna move that arm behind the chest. Another thing on my mind was the new X-Men trade by Frank Quitely. So I turned this into Cyclops. And then of course the other guy is Havoc. I really like that bomber jacket X-Men outfit, so had a lot of fun inking this. I wasn't really going for a specific style, so I guess you could call this my own style. A bit more cartoony than Frank Quitely. Sock! This hidden hand was a happy accident. I didn't plan for it, but it looks like Havoc is holding Cyclops in a kind of an Aikido move. Worked well. So let's check the entries I got in the mail for this. A lot of them again this week. Moosy Stool got my highest praise ever in last week's edition, so this week, some feedback. I want to see more of Wolverine's arm to feel the punch more. The blood is a nice touch. If you don't know what the pose is to start off with, it's a little bit difficult to read what's happening. So how about the shoulder arm and maybe even a slight upper movement to get some distance between the shapes? Still really love the style though. Okay, check out Warren's. Wow, nice variation on the stick figure. Clear follow through and the blood creates the action lines like in Watchmen. Really good twist in the body, which sells the downward motion. And because Wolverine's head goes down, the legs go up, kind of like a seesaw. Even the snow gets kicked up. Yeah, very solid stuff. Cyclops bites the dust again. Ouch! This is funny. The blocky style adds to the comic effect. Just wished Wolverine's other hand would be clearer. It could be behind the body, of course, but then maybe just add the elbow or something. Or like this. Then, Krakoom! I love this. Ross made it in Procreate, I found out. Nice cloud brush they got there. And the lightning is a nice touch that adds to the punch effect. Works very well as a Frank Miller homage, especially with that inking style here. Nice drop shadow on the skin from the mask that usually gets forgotten. Okay, then Ty's first entry with a very cool Dragon Ball. Nicely done. It has the Dragon Ball style, but it's not that typical sharp line on the muscles. A rounder and looser version, which is a nice twist. Very good hands. I appreciate someone who doesn't hide the hands and spends the time on them. C19's entry this week, Throck. Super fun drawing. And in retro style, thank you sir. Aged paper, check. Color halftone, check. One tip I have on this is to try to get some more dimension in the shapes by curving them some more. Since the thing has those rocks as a body, it's a good idea to get some roundness from there. But yeah, I'm realizing here I've never actually drawn the thing. Not really sure if the rocks are kind of like cracked clay or roof tiles. Mental note, have the thing be in one of my videos so I can study that rock style. Okay, next, Samuel this week with a hand-inked drawing, Smack. He mentioned the difficulty of old school inking. And yeah, I hear you. My tip is to have the pencils be super tight, so you just have to trace. Because if there's decisions to be made in the inking, there's no way to go back. Especially on a shield, which is a perfect oval like that. I don't think most of us invest in French curves anymore. Take it nice and slow. Then Coben with a nice holiday-themed Hulk square-off. I haven't seen the Red Hulk movie yet, but I assume he's the bad guy. Good shadow this time. Good placing of the muscles. The triceps here is nicely broken up, but I feel especially this part is a bit too much outlines. I'll have a tip for this in just a minute. Then first entry by Brandon. Very nice. Conan's giving me Fire and Ice by Frazetta vibes. Great consistency in the dropping of the shadows on the ground and in the bodies. You feel the light is coming from that yellow sky. Simple but effective. But like me, I see you're struggling a little with the hands. Give that thumb a bend to the left here and it would have been a perfectly good hand. But this is good here because I think it fits the style. Good choice to outline the body but not the background. Gives it kind of an animation feeling. And I'm really digging these colors. Good stuff. Then George this week with a couple of sketches. I always love seeing these notebook style sketches. Lots of energy. Here we need some more cross, like I mentioned in the video. The fist further than the impact point. Yeah, this is very clean, this one. Ready for inking, I think. But as for energy, this is my favorite. Also a sketch by Jason. Is that Cyclops finally getting his revenge on Batman? I like the twist and perspective exaggeration, kind of like Ren and Stimpy when he bites that soap. Yeah, I look forward to a more finished piece. Then a funny one by Eric. Donkey Kong getting clobbered by Captain Falcon. Great contrasting colors for that action effect. And the black really sells the punch. Eric asked me a question about the back arm. So if you think of the arm, torso and arm as separate layers, it makes it feel a bit flat. So the way around that is to draw more, all the muscles. And then the trick is in the inking, but let me just change it a bit to make my point clearer. If in the inking you leave all the shapes open, it becomes one three-dimensional shape instead of those 3 or 4 planes. Check it like this. Think that there is a line going from one side to the other, or the top to the bottom, and that makes all the difference. Then Raoul with a scary one. Back to Halloween for this. Good cross and blood action lines. Check. I want to see a bit more of the Batman anatomy because I'm having trouble recognizing the shapes. Although I think it's a Spider-Man double leg bend. If it's gonna be there, then maybe a bit more. Great lighting highlights as usual. Super Avner with a very cool Daredevil Bullseye. Also a nice customization on the stick figure and a good consistent style. The small hands work well and it somehow even fits with the small spit droplets. Nice abstract background and soft color. Great choice for these two. I would never have thought about that mint green or like a soft olive, but it works very well with the yellow and red. Yeah, I think this is Avner's best one yet. Ian made my day with this one. There's something super charming about this. The effect on the punch is very well done in a playful way. Vader's face is the classic mask, but somehow I even feel an emotion through it. Ugh. And then Luke's eyebrow is very stern. The background is perfect, especially compared to last week's. Nice touch with the two suns. And finally, not an official entry, but I found this online. The pose has also been homaged by the pro illustrator Butcher Billy. And this is the mic drop on this one, I think. Super style accurate, but also a playful twist. Check the slightly offset coloring, but very offset at the fist, which is the action focus point. So definitely on purpose that. And what happens if I put mine next to it? Okay, he gets the Frank Miller homage points, but I think I solved the leg puzzle quite well. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do if you like this kind of stuff. I make a video like this every week, and if you're up for joining the challenge, check the description, and there's also links to all the participants' art pages there. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.